What's up? Just if JP in the house. Okay, I'm gonna continue on the processing and blah 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 video. Okay, now this is what's going on. Okay, and I'm breaking it down to you. You can test it on yourselves. I've said in my Free Your Mind videos and stuff like that, but I've been thinking I've got a little bit more concrete or concise, or whichever word is precise. You are not your brain. Your brain is not you. Your brain is a machine that processes information. The information can be anything and everything you see, because everything in this earth is in relationship to your brain. Okay, everything. So the way your brain is made up, coordinates and all of this stuff, and you know, heat and cold and wet and dry, and everything affects your brain just the way it affects the earth. So all the atoms and molecular makeup of your body and the earth is just the same, okay, like it is in space. So really there isn't that much difference, other than the things that we haven't become aware of. Your brain processes everything that you see. Whether you can retrieve it or not is a different thing, but whether you understand what's being retrieved or what's being, not retrieved, but everything that whether you understand which things are being calculated and diagnosed and remembered and everything inside your brain, just because you don't notice it doesn't mean it's not going on. It's going on. That's the purpose of your brain. Your hormones are always talking about how it brings this pleasure because of the stress that's created in your body when adrenaline and other forms of pressure, more than likely inside, it could be outside too, I haven't really thought about that, but anyway, the stress that you're causing yourself, and the stress is just the extra pressures or extra work beyond that your body does that's beyond the normal. Your hormones are read in the dictionary. I didn't read in the dictionary. A friend of mine sent it, and because he was kind of crack jokes on what I was saying about hormones, and he oh, thank you. And he I guess he wasn't reading what he sent, and basically the definition said hormones make the tissues and glands move, that cause them to move. And I always thought it was electrical impulses, but it said no, it's the hormones. And so I was like, wow, really? And then it just clicked. I was like, oh, okay, now I get it. Because I guess the hormones must be some kind of chemicals or something. I'm not sure exactly how it is. But the way I translate it is they're just, what your hormones do is they deliver an encoded message, or a coded message, to your tissues and glands, heart, muscles, and stuff like that. That your heart, that your mind creates and send. And of course, you are the ones who input the data into the mind, and then the mind sends it via hormones to your glands and your tissues, muscles, and stuff like that, and then your body carries out that command. What's going on is that a lot of people don't understand this, so what they're doing is they are intentionally and unintentionally just creating these commands in their hands, and their body is just constantly doing these things. And we're taught, well, if it feels good, that means it's right and stuff like that. No, that's wrong. Every act that you do is premeditated right now, try to do something without thinking about it. The only thing that you can do without thinking about it is nothing, because you even got to think about the think. Okay, it's like, okay, what am I thinking? Your body and your mind, like your mind, wherever it is, that active part in your brain, whether it's the third eye or some melanin or a spirit, whatever, is constantly moving. It's constantly on. Your body is constantly working without your help. Involuntary movements, heart, blood, and stuff like that. Everything is working. Your body is fully functioning, independent of your thinking or any control of you to keep it warm and stuff like that. The only thing you need to do is just revive it, put the energies and stuff in it that it needs. The brain, they haven't figured out what's going on. They haven't figured out how to control you, but they do know how to kind of manipulate you, and they do that just by sending all kinds of information, misinformation, disinformation, and stuff like that in front of you. Everything, the subliminal message, everything, your mind encodes all that stuff, whether you see it or not, because the way that messages are delivered to you is delivered in such a way where your mind or your brain cannot misinterpret it. Everything that's going through, whether how fast or slow, your brain is able to pick it up, because it's the messages and things are coded in such a way that your brain can register them. And like I said, unless the way they're coding stuff now is, like I said, it's related to the makeup of the universe, your brain and your body and everything else. So there's nothing new until they come up with something new, then that's a whole different story. But they are bombarding you with all kinds of information. Well, that's all they're doing. And it could be good, bad, whatever. It could be in order, out of order. It can be whatever. But they're bombarding you with this stuff. The reason they're bombarding you with this stuff is because when you actively start thinking about something, or basically what you're doing, you're researching your database to do something, to act in a certain way or whatever, they already know that your database is the only way that you're going to get any information. And you have so much information that's stored in there from the time you were conceived to the time your baby and your brain was created and started working till now. And you've got all this information and stuff in you, and they know that whenever any situation comes up, that you have to rely on that data. And if that data in your mind, that data that's in your brain, doesn't have the correct formulas or methods to correct the situation, then they know that all you're going to do is panic, and then you're just going to do anything, and especially if it feels good. So you might, and like I said, people have the ability to release what is that thing called? Release your endorphins, because that makes you feel good, or whatever other hormones. But you have the ability to release a lot of those on your own without them functioning in accordance to whatever they're doing. I saw something on, well, I'm not going to say it, but I saw something on Facebook where you can do something and it just releases these endorphins into your bloodstream. It just makes you, just relaxes you and stuff like that. And pretty much those drugs, all they are like kind of, I guess, depressants and stuff. Not make you feel bad, but just really relax your body and stuff. When they say you have an urge to do things, the urge is that message being delivered to your body, and sometimes you feel it before you do it. So it's like you want to go on a diet and all of a sudden you get this urge to eat ice cream. Well, probably what happened in that time was you went in your database and you just started remembering, calculating how the ice cream was and how it make you feel and stuff like that, and you just sent a command to your body, but you sent it in such a way where you didn't need so much hormones to deliver it, so it's just a little bit. So that's why you got this urge, you know, and it's not really strong, you know, it's just this urge. And you can and if you change your thoughts, you'll stop it. Okay, it'll go away, because the amount of hormones that's going to make you actually move your body is not going to be that much, or the adrenaline that's with it is not going to be that much. So you're able to override that command, and you don't do it. I'm fighting against it. And what you're doing is you're fighting against a command that is being sent to your body, and your body starts to move. But because it's not so much adrenaline and stuff like that, and the hormones is not that much, you didn't release a large amount, that you're able to physically stop yourself from doing it. But it's going to cause havoc in your body, because now you got your muscles trying to move. It's like arm wrestling, and you're 110 pounds arm wrestling someone that's 350 pounds, and you're trying to fight against them, and they just put your hand down, and you know, they slam your hand to the ground, and you hurt your wrist or your shoulder and stuff like that. Well, that's what's going on in your body. Now, a lot of people can't stop themselves, and they get that urge, and then what they do is they just let go, and just you know, release. Even they probably send another command, but when they do it this time, they do it with so much fluid that hormones and whatever that is just really strong. And I guess it will be the what is that stuff called? The I forget the word. It would be the not the adrenaline, the I forgot. I forgot. Okay, anyway, that makes sure give you more strength and stuff. It'll be so much that your body, that you can't override it. You know, you can't override it, so you end up going and do what you do. And I'm not gonna lie, I know this, and I do this all the time. And the solution is one of two things. You're going to have to really understand what's going on, and you're going to have to create another command that can affect different parts of your body. And so let's say, like, if you want to go to the store, you start to walk to the store, but the orders to walk to the store, the part that makes your legs move, might not be as strong as your hands, you know, or something, you know, your how can I say that? See, I lost for words. Since I need to read dictionaries more, thesaurus more. Well, thesauruses give you more words. Maybe the urge or that movement, the command that you have, is all in your upper body and not so much in your legs. So what you could do is you can make another order and just tell your legs to collapse, and you just fall, you know. And I'm telling you, you do that, what's going to happen is when you're falling, and then the all the stress and stuff is going to break havoc on you. But while you're doing something else, it'll be able to burn off, because it's constantly being burnt off. So that's why the heat is created and stuff, you know, in your body, and you'll be able to stop. But the whole thing is, when you get that urge, you have to start thinking about other things. But what it really is, it's not that you're thinking about other things, it's just that you're going to have to send an override command in your body. And it can be to go to sleep, it can be to cry, you know, It could be the fight, you know, especially if you're a kid, want some ice cream, your parents don't want to give it to you. So, you know, I mean, it could be anything, you know. So that's what's going on, you know. That's all. It's like we are really like we're some kind of not artificial intelligence, but like if we put it together with our bodies and stuff, and you can grab that CPU chip and then the machine and stuff, and it's really interesting. So basically, what's going on with the police and shooting black people and stuff like that, a lot of times, you know, what we have to understand is that we are in a country that's ruled by certain groups and they have their agenda, and evidently our agenda isn't the agenda they have for us, isn't the same agendas they have for themselves. But we're not totally counted out. It's not that, you know, we like how can I say that? They were saying, people, you know how you say like, oh, slave masters didn't allow blacks to read, slaves to read, because they would read about their histories, you know, and get to know themselves. But there were a lot of free blacks, you know, out north, and, you know, who were able to read and own slaves and all kinds of stuff. Black women too, you know. So that's really not a good intellectual or intelligent or cognitive or whatever you want to say reason. Okay, and the main reason is the Egyptian, especially Egyptian history, didn't really hit the United States in big full force until after Napoleon went and invaded Egypt. And when they went there, they were commanded to write everything as it was, no be prejudiced, write everything the way you see it, no judgment, and so they're the ones who really probably got a real good understanding of Egypt, where we were able to, where the West was able to, or the Europeans were able to really study a lot of stuff. Then that information had to go back to France, get sorted out, all of this stuff, then get translated into English. Then the Americans, the white people, they had to read through it to make sure it wasn't nothing in there that was going to make this the free men, because you can't say slaves, you know, because they weren't allowed to read, but, you know, to make those who were able to read up north or whatever, not to make them not to allow them to cause revolts or whatever. I'm not exactly sure, but that's it. But when did Napoleon invade United States? I mean, not United States, man, I'm tired. Egypt. I can't believe I say United States. But the French did have territory in the United States, so Louisiana. What is considered now the United States. And actually, I was thinking about that because I had a conversation with this one black woman the other day. She's so beautiful, gosh. Anyway, but by the time it hit the United States, what year was it? You know, what year was it? And I'm thinking it was, I don't know, because when I was reading something, it was like in the early or the late 1800s, or I don't know, or in the early 1800s. I'm not sure. Well, because I forgot when not Hitler. Man, I'm tripping, huh? And me and some friends were talking about that too. But when Napoleon invaded, what was that place called? Egypt. I'm tired. A lot of times I make a lot of my videos and I delete a lot of them because the things that I'm talking about are boring to me, so I put myself to sleep, you know, but they are important, so I gotta go through this. But anyway, what year did it all start hitting the United States? When did Egyptology in the United States really start taking off and in Europe and stuff like that. And then at that time, what were the conditions of the slaves and stuff like that, you know, especially in the United States. So you have to really think to yourself, well, why would some people say that? Because that information wasn't available to all the slaves for those 400 years, for probably less than 50 years, you know. And so that right there is just, you know, an example for those who do the study and other data, just saying, well, you know, why are these black men saying this, or why are black people saying this, or why are black women saying this stuff, and it's not even true. You know, it's not even true. The real reason that they didn't want us to read had nothing to do with us learning about ourselves. So what? You were a king, so what? I mean, it's not like the kings and the queens and the princesses and all the scientists in Africa that were brought over to the United States all of a sudden forgot who they were when they were on the boats. And when they got off the boats, it's not like they didn't talk to people who understood their language and told them who they were and stuff like that. So who they were and everything, you know, when the first slaves came over and stuff, they already knew it. And as time went on, of course, you know, the history and stuff didn't get taught and stuff, you know, but still. But the real reason why they didn't allow blacks to read was because they didn't want black people, including myself, to get the knowledge that would make us come together to create, develop, research, to study and research, you know, study, gain the knowledge, then research with the knowledge that we gain and develop new sources and things like that, and then we will move above them. So that's why everything, the patents and everything that we created, they, you know, I wouldn't say everything, I don't know how much they took, but they, you know, put them in their names because blah blah blah, because we weren't citizens and stuff like that. So it wasn't about us not knowing about ourselves. It was more or less for us to stay at a level where they can control us. Because once, I mean, like, I'm going around here in Japan teaching 3-year-olds and 4- and 5-year-old kids how to divide and multiply, and it's taking less than, you know, 4 minutes, 5 minutes tops, you know. And it's really interesting. And if you can do that, you know, and show these kids, you know, exactly what they're doing, and adults even, they're smart and they can understand and catch on to this stuff, then they're going to start going out and it's going to start developing. And once they start developing, and if the white man isn't able to keep tabs on them 24 hours, then eventually they're going to build something that's going to be able to create their freedom and keep it, and keep, you know, white people, or those bad people anyway, or whoever they are, at bay. And whatever it takes that the whites do, or whatever it's going to be, you know, whomever, it's just going to be so insignificant that you can ignore it. And then if you get tired of it, like a flight keeps flying by you, then you just get a flight swarm there, pop, you know, and that's it. So it has nothing to do with that. But what's going on in the neighborhoods and stuff, the whole point is we all are just ignorant, you know. I mean, we are just ignorant, and we need to get a lot of more knowledge and stuff. And I want to talk about this homosexual thing that's going on too. I'm not going to talk about it in this. Oh, I got time. Now, I'm not going to talk about it in this video, but I do want to talk about it. And it's the same thing. You know, it's just all about the information in your head and how your body, your mind, and your glands and tissues and stuff, and how all that stuff works. But I gotta go. I'm out. Peace.